me feeling like I'm academics.
Stuff we're still talking about this idiot. Let's get to it.
A social media personality known as Chud the Builder finds himself in hot water testing the limits of our rights. In this week's Ask Isaacs, Lori Tucker takes questions about the case to legal analyst Greg Isaacs.
Greg, thank you for joining us.
Lori, it's good to be here.
We are in the newsroom. It looks a little different right now. This is normally where we do our live stream every Wednesday at 1:30, and we decided to keep it in the past and the trouble that he is in right now when it comes to attempted murder charges.
Chud the Builder has a significant following on X, and he's a rage baiter. What he does is he'll approach pedestrians, use very salacious language, typically with a racial overtone, and then try to get a reaction. Chud the Builder, a.k.a. Dalton Etherly, took that little act outside the Montgomery County Courthouse in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Just a few weeks ago,
and he encountered an African-American individual that was a military veteran. They were engaging in...
And his bond is set at $1.25 million. Why such a high bond?
Well, because, one of the main factors in a bond is to reasonably assure someone's appearance, but also to ensure the safety of the community. And one thing that the judge...
Okay, so let me get so
anybody on that
he's been locked up. Let's get to some of what was revealed in court, because there's a lot of conversation about what happened in court. What's the actual details? Does he have a case to beat it? I'll save you the suspense by saying his bond of $1.25 million got reduced to $1 million, so it got reduced by $250,000, and it was also ruled that he cannot use any funds that came in via GoFundMe or crowdfunded type of ways. He needs to find this money by his damn self, or have a family member kind of like give the money to get him out of jail. And they provided some proof of why they feel he shouldn't get out of jail, including that when they searched his stuff, he had a one-way ticket to like Turkey. He had bulletproof vests. It feels like this was someone who was either trying to crash out or try to do something and then dip immediately.
Side of the bar does not have a speaking role in any of these proceedings today. There's not going to be any hoopla or shenanigans from the gallery. You're going to be removed, and I'll talk about that in a second. That's just not the way it works. We're going to have a orderly hearing today. If there's anybody speaking out or any kind of problem out in the gallery, that's going to be considered open contempt, and you're going to be subject to up to 10 days in jail or a $50 fine or both. All right, for the record, Mr. Ethley's now in the courtroom with by side Mr. Finley. General, how do you want to proceed with this morning? All right, we're ready.
Throughout the hearing, 2 people were escorted out for disruptions, and 1 man was taken into custody for contempt.
Please, thank you.
And the Chief Justice.
All right, take him into custody. Take him into custody. I told you, sir, you did not have a speaking role today. You decided that you wanted one for whatever reason. I don't know why, but take him into custody.
I think it's reasonable to have a gag order on the defendant should he make bond, and I guess even while he's in the jail and has his, iPad or whatever, but he cannot live stream, post, or anything that indirectly or directly encompasses these offenses.
Your Honor, but the First Amendment is very important to a free country. Without us being able to talk about ideas freely, we can't really be a free society. Now, repugnant ideas are still protected under the under rights of free speech. So people are free to go say whatever offensive things they want to say, as long as it's not calling for someone to hurt somebody else.
That adds up to $500,000. Now, the same statute that we've been talking about has a section that says what must occur, not shall, not may occur, but it says shall occur. 4011-118 says that the court shall, if the defendant is out on bond for other charges and commits one or more charges, that the bond will be set no lower than 2 times the customary amount.
Okay, so this was like a quick answer to all the people who have been saying, oh, yo, this is reverse racism. Why is his bond so high? The judge is explaining it. If you're out on one bond and you catch a more serious crime or case, and now you're going to be out on a second bond, you're going to have to pay half of what normally is required. Or not half, I mean 2 times.
There's no discretion in that matter.
Judge Poland set Etherly's bond at $1 million and bound the case over to the grand jury. The bond conditions include a GPS monitor, no firearms, a gag order, and surrendering his passport. After the hearing, Etherly was taken back into custody.
All right. So that happened. So now we get like all these reports from court. One man came out of court even though he was kicked out of court. And he had supposedly info about what they saw in court. Listen to this guy.
I removed from Chud the Builder's court hearing, but I am here to say that it's probably a self-defense issue. The other guy, Joshua Fox, definitely attacked Chud the Builder, and it's going to be a clear-cut case of self-defense. So any holding of him on bail is...
These guys still won't understand that, you can't shoot somebody if they punch you. Nobody's even arguing that the guy punched him first.
Total bullshit, and he needs to be released. Chud did nothing wrong. He was right to defend himself. Josh Black was having a PTSD episode. He approached Chud first.
Okay. Now, I keep seeing that stupid shit, and I want to just point out something here. Right? I want to point something out. Give me 1 second. Listen, hear he. No matter how many of you Chud the Builder supporters want to sit here and say he did nothing wrong, people need to control their actions, and it's the other guy's fault, and why are people chimping out? I want to remind you, listen, before y'all move the goalposts 59 steps, you cannot just kill someone because you got punched. A fight does not mean you could execute someone. And any type of trying to create the scenario that a fight would allow you to execute someone is wishful thinking. The facts of the case, whether the guy approached Chud after Chud had the conversation or Chud walked back up to him after he initially left, it does not give you a right to murder someone. Anyone who's saying it does is trying to trick somebody else off the streets. Do not take that advice. I have a video thanks to one of my supporters. It's a chat nigga who sent it to me. This will tell you, and this is why, like, with all due respect, I don't even know if it's even worth arguing with the people who like Chud and they're like, oh no, this is a clear-cut case. Look at this case. And this is a black guy. Listen to what he says.
I ended up running into one of my enemies, and this is when my life changed. He had ended up assaulting me and putting his hands on me, and then I had on me.
I hope you guys are hearing this. This guy is telling a story of how he got juvenile life. When he was 14, he ran into an enemy. The enemy assaulted him. He then pulls out a firearm because he had one.
And now looking back, I was wrong for having a on me. But when this tragic event happened, I had a on me, and he had put his hands on me, and I had fell to the ground, and I had got back up.
So let's think about the sequence of events. He gets punched, he falls to the ground, he gets back up.
I immediately just, somehow my reaction was to pull out get the so I get the
So he pulls out the gun and starts shooting the guy.
And then like he running across the street, and then like I run towards him, but like to get away I got to go down the street. So I go down the street, I end up getting away, and then like a week and a half later I end up getting arrested. So when I get arrested, I end up getting arrested for first degree at the age of 14 and tried directly as an adult because of the penal code 707, the welfare and institution code. So my first court date, before I went to court, my attorney came to see me. Her name was Joanne Harris. She's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be facing 25 years of life."
Did he?
Yes, he ended up.
So for everybody who thinks that a punch means you could kill someone, we're seeing consistent stories that normally, if you respond to a punch with a shot, you're going to jail.
He ended up suffering from a wound and ended up on the scene. And, I regret it to this day, but, it's just part of my story. So I ended up going to my first attorney visit. She like, "You facing 25 years of life." So I'm like, all right. So when I get to court, I go to court. Now we doing arraignment. She like, they called me out early because they got to transport me in shackles to the adult court from the juvenile detention facility, Kiefer. So they transport me, and my attorney called me out for a visit. So she like, I misinformed you. I'm like, what? She like, "You facing 50 years with 2 life sentences." So I'm like, huh? So boom, we go to court. At this time I'm numb. It's not even feeling real because I remember when I went in the juvenile hall, it was a staff. Her name was Ms. Gray. She was like, "Yeah, you facing some serious charges." And I remember her telling her like, "Nah, I'll be out in a couple days or something," not realizing the nature of what just happened. So juvenile hall, she ended up telling me I got 50 years with 2 life sentences. I ended up going back to the unit. As soon as my friend seen me, my boy Wood, he instantly knew something was wrong, and we both, I started crying. So he was trying to tell me it was going to be all right, stuff like that. So I ended up, my crime happened January 17th, 2007. So I ended up going to trial, like 6.
Yeah, the rest of this part is kind of irrelevant to the convo we're having. The point is that please do not listen to these guys and think that if you have a gun, you could kill somebody because they swung at you or they hit you. Anyway. So the guy saying Clear Cut's case is not true. There was some interesting things that got brought out in the hearing. Let me see if I can figure it out. Where is it at? Give me a second. I'm looking for like a video about it. Can't find shit.
Middle.
Not rolling it into a ball.
Into the. We have every day.
Yeah, so there's a long list of things. All right, here we go.
This rage-baiting racist. He recorded this statement by live streaming it to his account on the platform Pump. And based on what he himself says about the altercation, he's going to have a hard time arguing self-defense. And on the other hand, his statement, along with witness reports, is likely actually to go a long way to prove the elements of attempted murder instead. And by the way, that's before the prosecutors are able to introduce to the jury examples of Chud's content to make an easy argument that Chud has likely been looking for an excuse to do what he did here. And already things are looking pretty bad for him because after his arrest, the judge set his bond at $1.25 million. And you could tell that this news hit him hard.
I'm going to set initial bond at $1.25 million. Based upon the fact of how many people were in the courtyard, were here at the courthouse, and the seriousness of all these felonies. And $1.25 million. $1.25 million.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Okay. There's another guy who does a better job, sorry. But everyone's so much on different sides with this. You can't find out the actual truth.
Levi Etherly was racist streamer Chud the Builder, real name Dalton Levi Etherly, was charged with attempted murder last week after he shot a man outside a Tennessee courthouse after he left a hearing on a civil case. Think about in just this description. From that sentence alone, you would think that Dalton Easterly stepped out of a civil case in a Tennessee courthouse and shot a man just to see him cry. Shot a man just to see him cry. He claims it was self-defense, legal by its rights. But there are glaring issues with that argument. There are glaring issues with the self-defense argument. So that's what we hope to see in her legal analysis, right? Her 20-minute YouTube video. She's telling us that she sees glaring issues with his argument of self-defense. And on top of that, he made some big voluntary admissions to the police that are likely to go a long way in proving attempted murder instead. She doesn't say instead of what. I'm presuming she means attempted murder instead of self-defense, right? So that's what really caught my eye. Big voluntary admissions to the police that are likely to go a long way in proving attempted murder instead, in opposition to self-defense. So I asked her, maybe she's answered by now. I said, what were these big voluntary admissions that are likely to go a long way in proving attempted murder instead of self-defense? Did she answer? Let me just take a look. No answer. And then I guess her YouTube video went live at Eastern time. She must have a membership of some kind. Bite Club. The Bite Club. Is that supposed to be a play on Fight Club? The Bite Club.
All right, man. Let me just look at the stipulations. Okay. So his bail been reduced. I know Chud reduced. His bail's been reduced to $1 million. He can't speak about. Okay. So his bail is now reduced to $1 million. Okay. He cannot have any guns, and he cannot get online and use social media or any streaming apparatus to talk about this case. What happened is that after he was taken into custody, they then executed a search warrant. They found body armor in his car, other firearms, ammunition, and they also found in his car an airline ticket to Istanbul, to Istanbul, in his possession. I thought it was somewhere else too, but Istanbul, in his possession, and I think it's a one-way ticket following the shooting. Okay. So the judge agrees.
In my life with lethal force. Do not approach me with intent to threaten.
Okay, so this is part of the testimony, right?
Anybody on that side of the bar, you're going to be removed, and I'll talk all about that in a second.
Can you read what these posts say?
The initial part says, I will defend my life with lethal force. Do not approach me with intent to threaten bodily harm.
I think it's reasonable to have a gag order on the defendant, should he make bond, and I guess even while he's in the jail and has his, I don't know, iPad or whatever, but he cannot live stream, post, or anything that indirectly or directly encompasses these offenses.
But the First Amendment is very important to a free country. Without us being able to talk about ideas freely, we can't really be a free society. Now, I mean...
Yeah. All right. That makes sense. Again, he'll probably be out at some point, but, I think it's time for Chud to employ some of the things he has said or thought about black people. He should pull himself up by the bootstraps, go get that money, get yourself bond and bail with your own income. Don't look for handouts. This is not affirmative action. This is not some DEI type of stuff. So, hey, don't be like those black folks you seem to like to criticize. The people who, most like you feel like it's living off the system. You should make a change and go pay your bond your damn self. Now, when they say you can't stream or whatever, I think that's the good for the community, because your streaming was all about kind of propping up the dudes who are too scared to do what you did, and it was actually fostering an environment that was all about hate. So, Chud, take care in jail, and whenever you get out, hopefully you see the error of your ways. But if you don't, fuck it. You know what I mean? We got somewhere for you. Okay. Have y'all seen this clip?